We are now live. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday afternoon. The day's been great so far. The week has started excellently. We're going to get into this in a moment. So as y'all coming in, y'all know what the deal is. Y'all know what the program is. If you don't know what the program is, let me tell you very quickly. Leave a comment. Tell me who you are as y'all checking in. And we're going to get started in like 30 seconds. I'm going to give everybody like 30 seconds to get in, get situated, get organized, say hello to people that you've seen before, and then we're going to get right into our material. Hope everybody, again, has had a great Tuesday thus far. My name is Baldwin. I'm going to introduce myself formally in a moment. Y'all going to get to know me plenty, so I ain't got to talk about myself. Again, give me y'all 30 seconds to get in. Hope you had a productive day, happy, healthy day, youthful day, productive day. And for those who do not know me and those who do, allow me to initially introduce myself. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, former 9-year professional athlete, author of 27 books. I've done 4 TED Talks. I created this whole brand, this philosophy, this whole movement, this whole mentality that is called Work on Your Game. I also created a book about it. I'll tell you about this later. It's all about taking the mentality necessary to succeed in sports and teaching how that mentality and those mental tools apply to business and life. Now, as I already told you yesterday, or as I already did yesterday, I did part 1 of 2 of what we're going to complete today, which is why you are not being who you could be in life. Everybody who's listening to this right now, or if you're going to listen to this, you have some things that you want to do in life. You're a certain type of person that you see yourself becoming, or at least you hope you could become. Maybe you haven't been that person yet. Maybe you are it right now, but it's been shaky. You haven't stuck to it. Maybe you've been that type of person in the past, but for whatever reason, you haven't stuck to it. Today, I'm going to tell you why that's happening, why you haven't become it, why you're not staying it, why you maybe don't think you can possibly do it. And oh yeah, I got Periscope here on my far left. I got Instagram Live in the middle. I got Facebook Live on my right. So wherever you're checking in from, you can leave a comment, and I will respond to all questions at the end. I will shout people out if I didn't see anybody shout themselves out in the comment section here, but maybe I missed it. No, nobody did it. So anyway, we're getting right into it. I'll shout people out in the end if somebody comes in while I get started. So we're going right into points number 5, 6, 7, and 8 today. Yesterday I did 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you missed those, go back and check that in yesterday's stream. So on all 3 platforms, you can see yesterday's stream. On Instagram is in the IGTV tab. Facebook is right there on the page, and Periscope is the only thing you can do on Periscope is see the videos. So y'all know how to find that. Y'all know technology. Point number 5, topic again today is why you are not the person who you could be. Self-ridicule. No, I didn't say self-belief. I said self-ridicule. What is self-ridicule? Self-ridicule is the inner conversation that you're having with yourself where you are telling yourself, I am stupid, I'm foolish for even trying to do this. I am not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to achieve this. Or maybe you even start trying. Maybe you convince yourself to try and you start to do something, but then as soon as something doesn't work, or as soon as you don't get the result that you thought you would, or as soon as something happens that for whatever reason you are embarrassed about the fact that you got a certain outcome or you did not achieve a certain outcome, you start talking down on yourself mentally. You start telling yourself it was stupid to even try. You start telling yourself that you are not the person who's capable of doing this. You tell yourself that, I'm not going to be able to make this happen for whatever reason that you have stuck in your mind. A lot of things that you already had in your mind have led to that, and a lot of things that you are cultivating in your mind, meaning the seeds are already there. You just keep watering those seeds with more negative self-talk, giving you more reason to believe that you can't succeed. I heard, what's this guy's name? The guy who did the Chicken Soup for the Soul book. His name is escaping me right now, but I'll think of it in a minute. But he talks about this. Jack Canfield is his name. And he talks about the concept of Velcro, mental Velcro. And the way it works is very simple. If somebody says something about you, for example, somebody told you that your hair was orange, and you know that your hair is not orange, you look at them like they're crazy, or you can laugh it off, or you could completely ignore that person because you know what they're saying makes no sense. There's nothing in your brain that believes what they just said. So whatever they say, it just bounces right off you. You reject it. You don't even remember that they said it because it's just ridiculous. But if there's something in your brain that makes you believe on whatever level, something that somebody else is saying to you, if it was already in your brain before they said something, then them saying it just makes it stronger because now they're basically adding on to it. It's like Velcro. You know what Velcro is, right? It's like when you got a pair of sneakers or something, you got the strap, and that Velcro makes it stick together, and it makes that tearing sound when you take it off. That's the Velcro of the mind. A lot of people and possibly you are not being the person that you want to be in life because you have some self-limiting beliefs in your mind right now. And as soon as you hear something that is consistent with that self-limiting belief coming from the outside world, whether it's some hating individual who wants you to fail, whether it's somebody just saying something that's not even talking about you, but it happens to register with you. Somebody just says something offhand, and for whatever reason you take it in a negative way. The only way that thing can really affect you, what somebody else says or does, or something that happens, the only way it can really affect you is if there's something already in your brain that believed it. You cannot just pick up something random that you never thought of before and have it automatically stick in your mind, at least not anything negative, if there was not anything in your mind that already there had to be some fertile ground for that seed to grow in. Actually think, but positive things as well. This works on both sides of the situation. If anything positive to stick in your mind, there has to be some fertile ground in your mind open. Like you can't teach a person something if they don't want to learn. You ever try to teach something to somebody or school them to some new information that they needed, but they just didn't want to hear it? They just weren't open to it. There was no fertile ground in their mind. Therefore, you threw some seeds on the dirt and the rain just washed those seeds away because the dirt just wasn't welcoming those seeds. But if there's some opening for those seeds to be taken in by the fertile soil, then you can plant your idea, you can plant negativity, you can plant positivity, you can plant whatever you want. But if there's not an open mind available to take in the information, then nothing's going to happen. So when we talk about why you are not being the person that you want to be, there's some self-ridicule. That means some negative self-talk that you have going on in your mind every single day. It's happening over and over and over again. It's a habitual thought. Because you have that self-ridicule in your mind, all it takes is one thing to not work out, one thing to fail, one person to make some kind of joke about you, something to just not go the way that you wanted it to go. All that does is reinforce the negative thought you already had. It's basically like pouring water on a seed. It's like if you planted a seed of weeds. And I'm not talking about weed like marijuana. I mean weeds like the stuff you don't want in your garden when you're trying to grow flowers. When you already have a seed of weeds in your garden, every time something negative happens from the outside world, all it does is sprinkle water on that garden. And you know, if you water a plant, what's going to happen to the plant? The plant is going to grow. That's the same thing that's happening in a lot of people's minds right now. So that guy that I gave you the example of yesterday, he said he didn't want to write a book because he realized, and I've heard many people say this, they start writing a book and they realize it's a little bit harder than they thought it would be. They'll feel like a dumbass that they even got started. And then they'll start talking trash to themselves. Not from other people, not from the outside world, from themselves. They're telling themselves that things are not going to work out. And we end up judging ourselves so harshly that the world doesn't have to say or do anything negative towards us. We do all the beating up of ourselves before the world ever gets a hold of us. So if you think the world is being negative or other people are being negative, that's usually not the case. Because if you're not being negative to yourself, then nothing that the world is trying to do or nothing that other people try to throw at you is going to stick. You won't notice it. It won't have that much of an effect on you because you don't have the negativity inside of you to even begin with. It has to be something in you for the negativity from the outside world to stick to. How do you fix this? If you had a boss or a friend or a business partner or an intimate life partner who talked as negatively to you as you talk to you, you would quit that job, not be friends with that friend, dump that boyfriend or girlfriend, divorce that husband or wife. You would. Because you couldn't be around a person that was being that negative to you all the time. So what you need to do is start assessing your own thoughts. Get conscious about your thoughts. 85% of our thoughts are unconscious and habitual thoughts, meaning we're thinking it without thinking about it, and we do it over and over and over again. This is how mental conditioning happens in the passive way. In my book, The Mental Workbook, which I'll tell you how to get later, I can show you how to do that in the active way. But when you do it in the passive way, all those negative thoughts, you got to get conscious about them. What am I thinking right now? What are the thoughts that are going through my mind? What am I telling myself? What am I reinforcing to myself? Positivity, negativity. Am I building myself up or tearing myself down? There is a clear answer to that question. So you got to get clear on what those thoughts are and realize, again, if you had a friend or a boss or a business partner who was talking to you the way you talk to you, you would not hang around that person anymore. And that should tell you something. Talk to yourself how you want to be talked to. Point number 6. Topic is why you are not being the person who you know you could be. This is point number 6. We're doing the second 4 points today. Yesterday I did 1 through 4. Today is 5 through 8. Number 6, you fail and you don't come back. This is a simple enough one right here. You just don't stick to it. You decide you're going to try something. You try out for the basketball team 1 year, don't make it. You don't try out ever again. And then 20 years later, you're like, damn, maybe I should have stuck with basketball. Maybe I should have tried that. You try to play a musical instrument. You're terrible the first time you try to play it. You quit during the middle of your first lesson, and you never pick up the instrument again. Then you see your brother or your sister or your cousin. They become a professional playing that instrument. And you're like, damn, maybe I should have stuck with it when I was 12 years old. Maybe I would have become a professional as well. A lot of people try things one time or maybe a couple times. Maybe they don't try at all. They just think about it. Then they quit, either before they even get started or before they get anywhere close to creating success. Sometimes it's the right idea to quit. Let me be clear. I'm not telling you should not quit anything. All right, you got to quit something in order to find the thing that's right for you. All right, I quit. I tried to play baseball. That wasn't working out. I quit playing baseball, started playing basketball. That worked out. Everything in life is not for everybody. So you're going to have to try some things, realize that it's not for you, then move on to the next thing. But when you find the thing that's going to be your thing, you can't quit so easily. You can't give up just because things are not working as cleanly or as smoothly as you thought they would, especially when you're a beginner at what you're doing. Much more often in life is the self-ridicule that we have within ourselves that pushes us out. It's not the failures. It's not the fact that it's not working. It's not the fact that we don't have skill. It's the fact that we are self-ridiculing. So you go try out for the sport team, you don't make it, and you're talking so much shit to yourself about how bad you are at that sport, or how it's never going to work out, that you're the one that drives you out of the game. It's not the coach. It's not your hating friends. It's not the people in the neighborhood who want you to fail. It's you doing it to yourself. You are doing it to yourself, and then you blame it on the outside world. You blame it on the coach. You blame it on the other players. You blame it on the haters. You blame it on the negativity of the world, when really you are supplying the negativity. All right, the world that you live in is much more about what you're thinking yourself than what anything outside of you is doing, saying, feeling, smelling, acting. All those things combined do not do more to you than what you do to you. And they don't say more to you than what you say to you. So you need to check your own self-talk, your own internal conversation, because that has much more of an effect on what you do in your life than what anybody else could possibly say to you. So maybe the reason that things aren't working out for you is because you're in the wrong place. Maybe things aren't working out because you need to spend a little bit more time at it and put some more work in on your game. And maybe it's because you are being so negative towards yourself that you are sabotaging your success before you have a chance to even experience it, which happens to most people because of the fact that they just don't believe. All right, they fail, they don't come back. Again, not because failing one time means it's over. It's because they have that negative self-talk that we talked about in point number 5 that just causes them to talk down on themselves every time something doesn't work out. You got to develop the mental toughness that fights against that. And one of the 4 books in the Bulletproof Bundle that comes with when you get the Mirror Motivation, I'll give you an option to get the Bulletproof Bundle. One of the 4 books called the Mental Handbook is all about mental toughness. If you do not have mental toughness, when you say negative things to yourself, it will destroy you. It'll destroy your whole day. Just a negative talk you've been giving to yourself. Doesn't even matter what anybody else does. What anybody else does is just extra. Point number 7. Topic here today is why you are not being the person who you could be, because things are harder than you thought they would be. Being who you need to be and staying there is not always going to be easy. All right, that's why this whole thing is called work on your game. All right, not play on your game, not easy on your game, not everything works out when you snap your fingers on your game. It is work on your game. Sometimes you're going to have to go a little bit harder. You're going to have to go a little bit further. You're going to have to push a little bit more. You're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. Things are not going to go as simply as you thought they would go, or as easy as somebody who's been doing it for 10 years makes it look. You're not going to just step into the game and be as good as they are on the first day. And a lot of people are so mentally weak. They expect everything to work out immediately, and when it doesn't, they're like, oh, well, obviously this is not for me, or it worked for you, but it's not going to work for me, or, I'm giving up because I'm just not getting the results that I want to get. That's because of your mental weakness, your lack of persistence, your lack of follow-through, your lack of grit, your lack of stick-to-itiveness. All of these go under the umbrella of what we call mental toughness. What is mental toughness? According to this book right here, Work on Your Game, I'll talk about this. Mental toughness is your willingness and ability to continue to show up every day and do the work, which is discipline, and put yourself out there boldly and authentically, which we call confidence, even when the success you have expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. That's what mental toughness is. Do you have the mental toughness to keep going when things are not working? When you realize that the game is not as easy as you thought it was going to be, can you still keep grinding? Can you still keep working hard? Can you still keep believing? Can you still keep a positive mindset? Can you still keep your head up? Can you not be affected by the negativity coming from other people, the negativity coming from yourself? Can you keep going? And it's not a question that you answer in words, because if I ask a room full of people this question in words, everybody's going to say, yeah, I'm going to do it. And everybody's hyped up and motivated. Listen, I don't want to hear none of that shit. What are you doing when things are not working? Don't tell me how you're talking. Show me what you're doing when things are not working. I'll give y'all a secret about people. If you want to know what people think, listen to what they say. If you want to know what people believe, look at their feet. Watch how they move. Look where they go. Watch what they do. All right. You just listen to what people are talking about, and then they're just telling you what they're thinking. People can think about anything and not do nothing. All right. Any of y'all know people who talk all day and don't do shit? Okay. So it might be you, right? So thinking about things is one thing. That's cool. Thinking matters. All right. I'm not telling you not to think. Thinking matters, but the actions that you take will determine whether you have mental toughness or not, especially when things are not working. Okay, it's easy to be mentally tough when everything's working. When everything's working, you don't need to be mentally tough. You can be mentally weak. Everything's working, it doesn't matter. But when you're mentally tough, you keep pushing yourself even when things are not working. So what is the fix for this? Expect things to be harder than you expect them to be. Expect it to be harder than you expect. So whatever you think is going to be, you think it's going to be this hard, expect it to be this hard. Multiply that by 10. Make it 10 times harder than you thought it was going to be. As hard as you thought you needed to work 10 times harder. As focused as you think you need to be 10 times more focused. As good as you think your competition is going to be, they're going to be 10 times better than that. Expect that, so then when you get there, if they're not 10 times better, it's a pleasant surprise for you and the game will be that much easier. But you got to prepare to do more and be better than what you expect. Don't prepare. Somebody tells you you need to be a level 22. Don't prepare to be a level 22. Prepare to be a level 52. So just in case it's a 25, you're ready. And you're at 52, all they need is a 25, you're good. You're going to blow the competition out the water. But do not prepare just for what you're expecting. Prepare for 10 times more than you're expecting. So if it's anything less than that, then you're good to go. All right, and that's more of a mental thing, metaphorical. Then it doesn't mean that if you plan on practicing 2 hours, you got to practice 20 hours. So don't take everything I'm saying literally here. Understand the nuance and the spirit of what I'm saying. Point number 8, last one. Today's topic is how to know why you are not being the person that you thought you could be in life. 8th reason, you see being and doing what you want in life as a luxury. This is a big one right here. I'm going to say it one more time. You see being and doing what you want in life as a luxury accomplishment. This is like extra. Like the life you're living right now, where you're kind of like, you're doing okay, you're doing all right, you're getting by, you're kind of doing what you want to do, but not quite really. You're kind of being the person that you want to be, but not exactly. You think becoming the person that you really want to be is a luxury. It's like, what's a luxury? It's like if you got a nice house right now, you got a nice 2-bedroom house right now in a nice quiet neighborhood, and you're looking at a 20-bedroom mansion. You're like, man, I don't need all those rooms. I was only me and my wife. I don't need all those people in my house. You're looking at it like that, the way you look at the house. I don't need that. I'm good with what I got. And that's fine if that's the way you feel about houses. When we talk about you being the person that you want to be in life and living the life that you want to live, it is not a luxury item. That's not something that you do extra. It's not something that you get if and when there's time. That's not something that you get to, just because you're into excess and, doing everything, overboard. No. Being the person who you want to be in life and doing what you want to do in life is not a luxury. It is a responsibility. Let me say that one more time. Being who you want to be in life and doing what you want to do is not a luxury. It is a responsibility. It is your job to become the person who you want to be. It is your job to do the things that you want to do. And the main reason why a lot of people don't do what they want to do in life and they don't become what they want to be in life, not because of opportunity, not because of skill, not because of the government, not because of anybody hating, not because of bad luck or bad timing or any of the usual excuses that you hear from people. The main reason is they think being who they want to be is like some extra thing. It's like icing on top of the cake. They're good with eating some cake with no icing. Have you ever ate a cake with no icing? I'm sure you have. All right, that's how most people look at being who they want to be in life. It's like some extra stuff. All right, if I get around to that, cool. But if I don't, I'm good with what I got. Don't be good with what you have. If you are not being the person you want to be right now, doing what you want to do, don't be good with that. All right, it's not a luxury. It's not an excessive privilege. Because when you see something as a privilege or as a luxury, unconsciously, a lot of people feel like they're unworthy of luxuries. They're unworthy of privilege. They're unworthy of anything extra. So then when they get close to getting something extra, what do? They self-sabotage. They take their foot off the gas. They stop going as hard. They demote themselves, basically, mentally. You demote yourself mentally, the world will demote you literally, eventually. You keep that mindset long enough. People don't believe that they deserve success and happiness. They don't believe that it should come to them. They don't believe they should have it. They don't believe it should sustain. They don't believe things in life should come easy to them in any way. A lot of people believe all life is supposed to be a struggle and a grind and a strive, and it's always going to be hard and it's never going to be easy, and there'll never be times where they can just kick back and say, damn, this is good where I'm at right now. Most people believe that all of life is supposed to be a struggle and a grind and a hustle. I'm going to tell you that is false. All of life is not supposed to be like that. That doesn't mean you don't work hard. Doesn't mean you're not driven. Doesn't mean you don't have ambition and you don't go after what you want. All right, don't get me wrong here. But at the same time, it also does not mean that you are always supposed to be in one spot looking up at what you could be and never actually getting there. All right, it's not like you're not supposed to spend your whole life looking up at a glass ceiling, what you could do and never actually achieving it. That is your responsibility to achieve it. Then once you achieve it, your job is to sustain it and build on it as much as you can. And then each one teach one. You show other people how they do the same thing. By giving value to others, you create more value for yourself. That's the way that it works. But if you never get to the point of being who you need to be, how are you ever going to help anybody else do it? How are you going to help somebody become who they want to become if you can't even do it for yourself? How are you going to show someone how to do what they need to do if you can't do what you need to do for you? How are you going to show someone how to create fulfillment and reaching a level that they want to get to if you can't even push yourself to reach the level you want to get to? How are you going to help anybody else in the world? The way that you help others is by first helping yourself, then showing them how to do the same thing that you did. Any of you have been on an airplane? Now, before we had to wear masks on the plane, I'm going to be on a plane in a couple of days, but before we had to wear masks on the plane, they had their little oxygen mask thing. They still say it. If the oxygen mask popped down from the ceiling, what do they tell you? Put your oxygen mask on first. Make sure you're good, then help everybody else with a mask. If you got somebody with you, put yours on first, then help them. Why is that? Even if you got a kid, you got a 5-year-old kid with you, put yours on first, then help the 5-year-old kid. Why they say help you before help the 5-year-old kid? Because if you're struggling to breathe, if you don't have any oxygen, if you are asphyxiating, if you're about to die from a lack of oxygen to the brain, how are you going to help anybody else? If you ain't doing your thing, how are you going to help somebody else do their thing? If you don't know who you are, how are you going to help somebody else become who they are? These are all trick questions. You can't answer any of these. These are all rhetorical trick questions that you can't answer, because anyone who believes that being and doing what you want to be and do in life is a luxury will never get to that point. You'll never put your own oxygen mask on. Therefore, you will suffocate from a lack of oxygen before you ever get a chance to help anybody else. And I want y'all to understand that all the people that you know of who have big names or they've created a lot of value in the world, you know how they did it? By helping other people. Name somebody. Oprah Winfrey helped a whole lot of people. Steve Jobs helped a whole lot of people. Jay-Z helped a whole lot of people. Beyonce helped a whole lot of people. Mark Zuckerberg helped a whole lot of people. Anybody who gets their self known in a big way and they become publicly noted for their success has helped a lot of people in some way or another, either through entertainment, through giving them some type of utility, through some kind of new knowledge, through whatever it is that they're doing. I guarantee you I can show you any person you want to name how they have helped a whole lot of other people. That's how they became publicly noted as successful, because they helped others. But they had to help themselves first. And look at all those people. They all helped themselves either while or before they started helping other people. This is all an absolute fact. So now, all that being said, anybody got a question or comment, I will address them all at the end. Don't feel guilty doing what you want to do in life because everybody around you is less than happy with what they have. This is one of the really big ones that you get just from the effect of other people. The law of association with states. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. So you're around a whole bunch of people growing up in your community, your friends, your peer group, whatever. People who are struggling and striving and not quite happy with what they're doing in life, but they're kind of getting by and they're all right with that. All right, understand that when you start doing a little bit better than them, or your life is not as much as a struggle as theirs is, you may start to feel a little bit guilty. Not because they did it. Maybe they will, but maybe they won't. Maybe you'll feel a little bit guilty just about the fact that you're living a way that they're not living. All right, you have some things that they don't have. You have created you have afforded a certain type of way of being and living that those other people were not willing to do because they were not capable of seeing it for themselves. But because you can see it for yourself, now you got it and they don't, you might start to feel a little bit guilty. And what happens when people feel guilty in that way is they start self-sabotaging. Or before they even get there, they start self-sabotaging because they don't want to deal with the guilt. They don't want to deal with being who they want to be in life while you're surrounded by people who are not who they want to be because you know they're going to be looking at you funny, or you think they're going to be looking at you funny. That's a negative self-talk, and then you stop yourself from even getting to that level in the first place. This is the self-sabotage that keeps a whole lot of people from ever approaching being the person who they actually could be in life. And I want y'all to notice, I've given y'all 8 points between yesterday and today. I said nothing about luck. I said nothing about skill. I said nothing about opportunity. I said nothing about what other people need to do. And these are the main excuses that people have for not doing what they want to do in life. None of these have anything to do with you becoming who you need to be. Not one. Every one of these points that I've given you, all 8, are internal. They are all under your personal control. And you can do something about each one of these right now. This is not a 10-step plan. We need 3 weeks to implement next year. No. Right now, you can start implementing everything I talked about yesterday and everything that I talked about today. And through the books that I'm about to tell you about, this one you can get for free, and how you can get this one and another book, the mental workbook, together. Just through those 3 books, I can help you solve all of that in the amount of time that it takes to get a package to your house. All that being said, how do you fix this? Any of you who is religious, even if you're not, I'm not, but if you claim a religion, every religious text says something about, this is not a quote, but every religious text says something about your higher being wants you to grow and prosper and live in abundance. Every text. I don't care what religion you claim. If you are Jewish, if you are Muslim, if you are Christian, if you are any one of the other ones, so whatever they are, Roman Catholic, all of them, you are to grow and prosper and live in abundance. Every single one of them has something along those lines in it. Therefore, that's one thing every religion can agree on. They can't agree on anything else. They can all agree on that. I can't even agree on the name of the God. They can agree on that. Everybody is supposed to be abundant and prosper. There is nothing wrong with getting out of a struggle. There's nothing wrong with prospering and living the way that you want to live and being happy about your life every single day. There's nothing wrong with not having to struggle and strive and grind all the time. Okay? Do not be indoctrinated by what you see on social media. Everybody's always talking about the grind and hustling. Listen, it's cool to hustle if you want to hustle. All right, it's not cool to always have to hustle because you have to hustle. Those are 2 completely different things. And if you hustle for long enough, you want to put yourself in a position where you don't need to hustle, but you want to because you love what you're doing. That's perfect. But don't put yourself in a mental state of thinking that life is always supposed to be hard just because that's what's been modeled for you all of your life. You got to get yourself some better associations. You can start with yourself. And I'll tell you how to do that in a minute. All that being said, anyone has a question or a comment, go ahead and post it. Make sure it's relevant to the topic. I will address those. While y'all do that, I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds to do that. I'm going to tell you about this book and this book right here. This book right here is the first book of mine you should read. It's called The Mirror of Motivation. The subtitle is The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. This is the first book of mine you should read. I've written 27. You start with this one. Why? First of all, I made this book free, so you only have to think about it. I made this very easy decision. All you got to do is go to mirrorofmotivation.com. That's the title of the book, mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is already paid for. You just cover the shipping. But why do you want this book? As we've been talking about here today, all of you got goals. Everybody listening to me, you have goals, things you want to achieve in life. You probably know you got to work hard to get there. You listen to a guy with work on your game on his hat, you understand you got to do some work. Thing is, many people never ask themselves, who do I need to be? That's what we've been talking about the last 2 days. Who do I need to be as a person? This book will give you the framework for how you look in the mirror. See, it's why it's called the mirror of motivation. It's not about me hyping you up or me motivating you. It's how you look in the mirror using these frameworks and understanding how to get to being the person that you need to be. And you can do this over and over and over again. This is a repeatable, duplicatable process. That's why I put it in a book, so you can do it over and over again. If I put it in a video, you might forget. If I put it in a tweet, you might not even see it. If I put it in a book, all you gotta do is pick up the book and it will show you exactly how that's done over and over again for the rest of your life, okay? That's where you start. The book is mirrorofmotivation.com. The book's paid for. All you do is cover the shipping. Now, when you get this book, on the very next page, I'm gonna make you an offer to get this book. This is my magnum opus right here, 250 pages at the publisher's request. I took all of my philosophy that I've been talking about for the last 15 years, condensed it down to 250 pages, put into this hardcover book. It is called Work on Your Game. Use a pro athlete mindset to dominate your game in business, sports, and life. I'm gonna make you an offer to get this book and my book, The Mental Workbook, which is the workbook that you actually write down in with a pen or a pencil that will show you how to implement the frameworks that you want to get out of this book. So this book's going to give you the frameworks. The Mental Workbook will show you how to put it all together for a life plan. It's not a one-time plan. It's a life plan in the Mental Workbook. So you get this at mirrormotivation.com. On the very next page, you're going to get this and another book called the Mental Workbook all together. Call that the Mental Game Advanced Bundle. Again, we got offers for all of that. All you got to remember is mirrorofmotivation.com. Now, let me address questions that we got in the comment section. If you got a question, Facebook, go ahead and post it. Periscope, let's see if we got anything in Periscope. I don't think nobody posted a question in Periscope. So, I think IG might be the only place. Aaron Philly was good. Money May says, what are your insights toward the red pill and blue pill theories? I don't have any insights on that. I don't even know what that even means. I mean, I know it's from a movie, but I don't know. My perspective on beta males, alpha males, and simping ass males. No, I don't have no perspective on none of those things. I do a live every day. I mean, if you want to ask me a question, ask me about something that I've actually talked about. Further, do you agree that if a black household is being stabilized by a single mother, she will tend to incentivize black children by emulating black men? Again, another topic that I haven't talked about, but I talk about enough every day that you can ask me about something that I've actually said. So then I can address it. But I can't address these random questions that I don't know where you're getting these from. Adrian said, why are you not religious? Not saying it's a bad thing, because I'm just not. It's like me asking you why you're not an author of a book called Work on Your Game. You're just not. People are who they are. Additionally, do you agree there's a particular amount of parents who are flooding, indoctrinating, manipulating the minds of their children, which will hinge them to their poor habits and ideas? Money May, I don't know where you be getting these questions from, but you got to ask me some better questions. Ask me a question about what I'm actually talking about. That would help you a lot. So now, all that being said, I'm going to tell y'all one more time, mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is already paid for. All you do is cover the shipping. For some reason, my IG Live stopped. All you do is cover the shipping, mirrorofmotivation.com. On the very next page, we'll offer you the Mental Game Advanced Bundle, which will be working your game, plus the mental workbook together. Somebody said to beat a good team, you have to expect they are pros, so you can beat them. Somewhat. You didn't get that from me. But anyway, mirrormotivation.com. That's where you get this book. If you don't have this book, go get it right now before we run out of trees to print it on. We just got a box full of them shipped in today. That's that. I'm doing a live again tomorrow. What the topic is, I don't know yet. Everybody stay tuned. Work on your game. We out of here. Dre all day.